Radio Chingalman News, brought to you by Moose Milling and Go TV Broadcasting Zambia Limited.
Radio Changalo restoring everything in Christ with love and truth. Good afternoon with the main news. I'm Clara Singer. The headlines. Marketeers at Kito's Chisokone Market failed to account for a revolving fund. Revoked license for Chabi Shinetus and heavy gunfire has been reported in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. Remember, you can watch us live on Radio Changalo Facebook page and listen to us on Radio Garden. Now, the details. Lack of accountability in the usage of market empowerment revolving fund out of Chisokone Salaula section as a Tankana Member of Parliament, Alexander Chiteme. Speaking at the market today, Mr. Chiteme questioned how the 500,000 kwacha market empowerment given to the traders last year has failed to be a report among the traders. He further challenged the section leaders to produce a report on how funds were utilized. Mr. Chiteme, however, empowered the traders at Salaula section with 19 bills of clothes, roofing sheets, and 10,000 kwacha for repairing the shelter.
So we can handle this solution to make sure that I don't talk about it. Now we make it happen. I think we do that to achieve. Maria, no, the plan, no pressure.
Speaking earlier, Keto District Commissioner Chiloshe will pay to time to sensitize the traders on the importance of adhering to COVID-19 guidelines.
Mukusanganya iliashia COVID-19 yanapokuwa minister lelo mbara kwa mtoto ya kupiwa katika Dr. Chakalungu because Dr. Chakalungu bali shibati mwini mshika tonse kumutulila kwamba basi wesali mshika au chipo wechika wako Dr. Chakalungu haina kumutima wakujema wapena mishika na bonze ukila teti besa na ikwetu ila tuana bomba na matani wanzo.
Meanwhile, Salaula Section Chair Lady Esther Nirongo thanked the Member of Parliament for the gesture and pledged to monitor the empowerment fund.
Pero fue baixo abandonado abandono fuego. Fue banao a mi chila fuego. Pero preto trabuba ministro ya kwa president. Sari ya bantu ten. Padina chama numo, kwani ten padina chama numo. Kwa kulole chapeo bantu ten. Nati yako umo. Ukula lo chapeo yako. Ifo ibabla tutafe monitor. Ukula kwa bali udia. Uyo mtu bali ten twamu ibusha prebo pasiani. Ngashaku manekia. That's what some
Kalulushi Deputy Mayor Paul Chivunda has announced his intention to vie for the Kalulushi mayoral position in this year's general elections. Announcing his intentions at Dongwe Center in Kalulushi this morning, Mr. Chivunda said he has taken up the challenge because of President Edgar Lungu's consistency call on young people to take up leadership roles. Mr. Chivunda explained that the leadership experience he has attained as a Dongwe Ward councillor and deputy mayor has inspired him to serve the people of Kalulushi as mayor. He said his declaration has been done with the consultation from the party leadership in the district and that if he was going to be adopted, he would still respect the decision of the party.
To declare my intentions to stand as mayor in the coming August 12th general elections made known to you. I have taken this step because of the party president, Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu's leadership and encouragement of wanting more young people to take part in the governance of the nation.
Earlier, Kalalusha District Vice Chairperson Cornelius Mwansa complained about the continued divisions which have rocked the party in the area. Mr. Mwansa called for unity in the party, saying PF cannot afford to lose an election in Kalalusha. He appealed to party members to be civil and avoid being divided by some individuals and stick to the party's main objective of winning the general elections in August this year.
So my dear brothers and sisters, first Kambish and the Karush, it doesn't mean we cannot differ. Our opinions correct the differ. Our interests correct the differ. That's a fact. But as the people of one family, let's unite.
Mine Workers Union of Zambia, MOU's President Joseph Cheri has called on government to revoke the license for Chambishi Metals, which has been on care and maintenance for over a year. Before halting mining activities, management at Chambishi Metals promised government to only go for 3 months on care and maintenance. Speaking during a joint media briefing with National Union of Miners and Allied Workers, NUMO, at Akatilungu House this morning, Mr. Cheri charged that the same vigor shown at Mopani and KCM by government should be seen at Chambishi Metals. He also expressed a concern that equipment at Chambishi Metals was deteriorating.
In KCM, in Mopani, it should be the same steps that we should take at Chambishi Metals. We are very emphasizing and publicly calling on government to quickly resolve the issues at Chambishi. The speed they attached to Mopani, the speed they attached to KCM is the same speed that we want them to undertake Chambishi Metals. We are working hard as a union to see that facility start working. And
Meanwhile, government has extended empowerment initiatives by giving all miners minimal. Mine Workers Union of Zambia President Joseph Cheri said this follows a request from mine unions to the head of state to also start empowering miners, like it was being done to artists, churches, youths, among others. Mr. Cheri said the empowerment of miners has come as a relief as it would cut across all miners in the country.
we will continue to receive revenue from Indian Service President, which we requested. And we thank him that he has responded to our request. So all miners in Mopani, NFCM, KCM, Lugambe, Kansanshi, Rumwana, Kalumbira, and the other mines, they will continue to receive revenue perhaps in the next few months, and they will flag off giving this meeting which you have.
And National Union of Miners and Allied Workers, NUMO President James Chumsa, said there was need to find strategic partners in KCM and Mopani that would add value to the mining sector. He also hailed the government for empowering miners with minimal.
Who be willing to invest massively, who be willing to accept every worker, who be willing to work with the community, someone who is going to be accepted by all Zambians. So, and we are sure government has taken that into consideration. And finally, we are very grateful to His Excellency for hearing us when we requested that
In a video message to Los Angeles Religious Education Congress, Pope Francis said that suffering caused by the coronavirus pandemic is an opportunity to change and to have greater solidarity with others. Pope Francis's video message played at the opening of the 4-day Religious Education Congress, which is taking place online beginning yesterday until 21st of February 2021. According to the Catholic News Agency website, Francis said the pandemic has marked the lives of people and history of communities, hence the need to look at the future with a commitment, strength, and dedication of all. This news broadcast comes to you in the community service of Radio Chengelo, the compliments of Moose Milling and GoTV Broadcasting Zambia Limited. And now the international news is monitored from the BBC. Heavy gunfire has been reported in the Somali capital, Mogadishu, as a group of opposition leaders defied a government ban on public gatherings and held protests. Security forces have closed most roads in the city over the planned protest. The opposition parties want President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo to leave office after his term ended last week without the election of a successor. Here is the BBC with more stories.
The United States has formally joining the Paris Climate Agreement today as President Biden tries to reassert American influence in tackling global warming. When Donald Trump pulled out of the deal, nations such as Brazil, Saudi Arabia and Russia disrupted talks. Here's Roger Harrison. The US is back, but climate talks will not be an easy ride for President Biden. He's under pressure to declare tough targets to slash America's emissions over this decade. That will mean bearing down more heavily on coal, oil and also gas. And developing countries are still furious that the US continues to resist their demand for compensation for the damage to their economies already caused by disruption of the climate, driven in large part by America's emissions over a century. Research by an anti-poverty pressure group has revealed wealthy countries, which funded much of the research into COVID-19 vaccines, have ended up buying significantly more supplies than they need. The One Campaign study indicated that Australia, Canada, Japan, the UK, US and the EU have already secured more than 3 billion doses of COVID-19 vaccines, a third more than they need to give their populations 2 doses. More than 100 countries haven't done any vaccinations. A young woman protester in Myanmar who was shot in the head last week as police tried to disperse a crowd has died. Bernadette Keogh has more details.
The young woman was the first protester to be killed since Myanmar's army seized power on February the 1st and detained the country's elected leader, Aung San Suu Kyi. The demonstration turned violent when the security forces tried to disperse protesters using water cannon, rubber bullets and live rounds. At least 2 other people were reported to have been critically wounded. The young woman, who turned 20 while in a coma, has become a symbol of resistance for protesters who've wielded massive banners portraying her likeness during demonstrations.
To end the main news, a reminder of the headlines. Marketeers at Chisokone failed to account for a revolving fund. Revoked license for Chambishinatos and heavy gunfire reported in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. Remember to play a part in the fight against COVID-19 by adhering to the public health guidelines. There we end the main news. Good afternoon.